Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hai. What a special occasion for me to be here today to share with you about the topic Day of the Dead Q&A. Okay, so now let's start.
I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. Did I arrive in Guatemala?
Yes, I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st.
Yes, I arrived in Guatemala. Where did I arrive?
Guatemalan. I arrived in
Guatemala, right? I arrived in Guatemala. I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. Who arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead?
I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st.
Well, me, AJ, right? I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. Did I arrive in Guatemala on November 3rd?
No, I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st.
No, I didn't arrive in Guatemala on November 3rd. I arrived in Guatemala on November 1st. What day did I arrive in Guatemala?
The Day of the Dead. I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st.
November 1st. I arrived in Guatemala on November 1st. Where did I arrive on November 1st?
I arrived in Guatemala November 1st.
Guatemala, right? I arrived in Guatemala on November 1st. I arrived in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. I was curious about this holiday, so I went to the cemetery to see what was happening. Was I angry about this holiday?
No. I was curious about this holiday.
No, I wasn't angry about this holiday. Was I sad about this holiday?
No, I was serious about this holiday.
No, I wasn't sad about this holiday. I was curious about this holiday. Who was curious about this holiday?
It's me. I was curious about this holiday.
Oh, I was, AJ. I was curious about this holiday. What was I curious about?
A holiday. I was curious about this holiday.
The holiday, right? I was curious about the holiday. Which holiday was I curious about?
The Day of the Dead. I was curious about the Day of the Dead.
Which holiday was I curious about? The Day of the Dead. I was curious about the Day of the Dead. Was I curious about the Day of the Dead?
A holiday. I was curious about this, the Day of the Dead.
Or was I curious about Christmas? Well, I was curious about the Day of the Dead, of course. I was curious about the Day of the Dead, so I went to the cemetery to see what was happening. Where did I go?
I went to the cemetery.
To the cemetery. I went to the cemetery. Did I go to the cemetery?
Yes, I went to the cemetery.
Or did I go to the airport?
No, I went to the cemetery.
Easy. I went to the cemetery. Who went to the cemetery?
Me, I went to the cemetery.
Well, me, right? AJ. I went to the cemetery.
Okay, that's all about my sharing. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye.